Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. We'll be right back to the show. But before we do, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, factormeals.com, where if you go to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50, you can get 50% off your first order. That's factormeals.com/unbroken50. If you're like me and you are a person who is busy trying to create a life, heal, work on their health, wealth, and relationships, and not to mention deal with the day-to-days of normal life, you do not have time to be going to the grocery store and trying to figure out what you're going to cook every single day of the week. In fact, one time I did the math and I realized I was spending over 15 hours a week at the grocery store and cooking. When I added Factor, I got to use that time for myself, for my family, for my friends, for my community, and for my business. And so if you're in the place where you need some more support in the kitchen, head to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50 to get 50% off. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. You're listening to the Think Unbroken podcast, and I'm your host, Michael Unbroken. I'm an author, speaker, coach, and advocate for adult survivors of childhood trauma and abuse. In this podcast, you will learn how to transform your trauma into triumph, turn breakdowns into breakthroughs, and go from victim to being the hero of your own story. You can learn more at thinkunbrokenpodcast.com. And of course, check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at Think Unbroken Podcast. So, in honor of Valentine's Day, I thought I would do something maybe a little bit off, or different, I should say. And I want to share a story with you that, to be honest with you, is not a fun story. This is not one of those stories where it's like, and then there was a happy ending. Well, maybe it's subjective, but I want to share this story about the most toxic relationship that I've ever had. And the reason that I want to do this is because my hope is that I can empower some people to walk away. Valentine's Day is this really interesting day, right? Because it's about love and happiness and connection and companionship and having that special someone. And for a lot of us, there isn't a special someone, or there hasn't been a special someone, or that special someone broke our heart, or we broke that special someone's heart. There's always that thing. And I don't think any of us are immune to it, right? I mean, like, when you really look at the nature of love and relationships, there's always something in them that goes awry. Now, some of us will walk away and some of us will stay, and there's many, many different answers to what you should do in your relationship. But specifically today, and the reason why I want to talk about the most toxic relationship I've ever had, is so that hopefully you can make a little bit of meaning and perhaps pay a little bit closer attention to the relationship that you might be in right now that actually is not serving you, but you're staying in because it's comfortable, because it's known. Often one of the things that we do as trauma survivors, and this is something that I absolutely did, was we date the people. Hear me now. We date the people who are most like our parents. I'm going to let that sink in for a moment. And that was me in my teens and in my 20s. And in my 20s, I dated this woman. Obviously, I won't say her name. I won't say where we were. I won't give any specific details. But it was the most toxic relationship I've ever been into. It was the most volatile relationship, mentally and emotionally, spiritually, but never physically. Surprisingly, minus one time when she did smack the crap out of me. But in retrospect, like, I'm like, yep, I earned that one, right? It started off good, right? Like I think a lot of relationships do. It started off, we met at a concert, and immediately, like, I loved her energy. I loved her smile. I thought she was funny, and I was attracted to her in a lot of ways. And she had a boyfriend, and I had a girlfriend. And so a little bit of time goes by, and I remember she had told me where she worked. And this was, this was 16 years ago. Yeah. That's a long time ago, maybe 17, sometime in that window. And so we didn't really have cell phones, and like people had phones, but we weren't really texting each other, and most people weren't really connecting on social media and all that stuff. And so her and I get connected. I happen to give her a call, and I was like, hey, do you want to go grab a drink? Now, keep in mind, we both are in a relationship at this point. And she says yes, and I meet her. We go have a drink, and we sit there and we chain smoke cigarettes all night, having this conversation about life and everything. And she comes to tell me her boyfriend's in another city. I tell her that me and my girlfriend are on the fritz, which wasn't a lie, it was true, but we were still together. And we said, all right, well, let's just hang out. We'll be friends. That's not a thing. Just calling it what it is. So, I don't know, a week or two goes by. She invites me over to her house. One thing leads to another. You know how this story goes. Well, fast forward 4 years later, we're in a relationship. She left the guy she was seeing. I left the girl I was seeing, while simultaneously looking at this in a very objective manner. I understand we had set ourselves up for failure from the jump. And what do I mean by that? We both had cheated on our partners together. And we had built our relationship on drugs and alcohol and sex and cigarettes and yelling at each other and screaming at each other and fighting and belittling each other and being mean to each other. And then going through that thing where you break up and you get back together 7,000 times, knocking on each other's doors in the middle of the night, yelling and screaming at each other through the doors, the whole thing, the terrible text messages, the voicemails that are so mean that they just cut to the depth of you. You know, it was even, I remember one time I came home, we lived with each other for a moment. And I came home and she had taken this photo of us and thrown it in the trash can. And I remember being so absolutely angry, like I was ready to freak out. And I did. And what I did was something really stupid. And I like took her makeup and threw it in the toilet. Now, please, God, remember, I'm like 23. I'm a moron, right? Not saying that I'm less moronic now, just saying at 23, 24 years old, I was definitely a moron. And so this was the back and forth for years, the yelling, the screaming, the fighting, the cheating. And in fact, this is how bad it was. And some of you are going through this and you need to take a pause and look at your life and ask yourself this question: what the hell am I doing? What am I doing in this relationship? Why am I with this person who hurts me, who yells at me, who screams at me, who belittles me, who talks down to me, who steals from me, who pushes and pulls me and prods me and pokes me, who may actually hit me, who is in control of me, you have to understand something right now. If you are in a relationship, anything like what I just described, the relationship I was in 13, 14 years ago, you need to understand that it's never going to change. And you have got to hit the eject button. And you have to leave for you, for them, right? Which is a crazy thing. I know that doesn't make sense, but trust me, it does. For them, and if you have kids, especially for the kids, right? I don't want to coach your kids in 15 years, in 20 years, in 30 years because of the choices that you're making today, right? I know that you don't want that either. That's not me being mean to you, I promise. It's just me trying to plant a seed in your head. And so her and I were in this crazy relationship. I leave her, she leaves me. We go get drunk, we get back together. I leave her, she leaves me. We go to a concert, we get back together. She leaves me, I leave her. Our friends go, you guys are so insane. Stay away from each other. Don't be together when we're around you. Like literally our friends were like, you guys need to stay away from each other or you cannot hang around us together. That's how bad it had got. Because we were, all right, it's like if you put salt on all of your plants, they are going to die. We salted everything. We were literally salting the earth. We were destroying everything that we touched, both individually and together. And yet we just kept doing it and doing it and doing and doing it for years. And then I think we both kind of realized like it was either going to be this or we need to remove ourselves from each other. And I will give her props. She did something really incredible. She left me after I don't know if I've ever shared this story. I proposed to her as a last-ditch effort to save the relationship. The dumbest thing anyone could possibly do. I highly recommend you do not do this. And she said no. Thank God. Literally the greatest no I've ever been told. I would not be here with you had she not done this. And you know what's really messed up about that too is just a couple of days before, she introduced me to the guy that she was cheating with. Think about this, guys. I want you to really hear what I'm saying, how insane this was in my 20s that I would propose to a woman who introduced me to the guy she was cheating on me with when I was cheating on her the whole time too. Like, are you high? The answer is yes. So I do not recommend 0 score on Rotten Tomatoes. This is a very, very terrible idea. And fast forward a little bit, it turns out this was a great decision. She actually got married on my freaking birthday, which is a whole nother conversation to be had. But I had stopped talking to her for years, and she had stopped talking to me. And I'm so happy. I'm so, like, when I reflect on that, we had both just hit the breaking point. And sometimes it takes one person to be the brave, to have the courage between the two, to finally put their foot down and say, no more, this isn't for me. And again, there were people even around us who looked at our relationship and they're like, yep, that's normal. Okay, great. You guys are just like your parents. We were literally dating each other just like our parents. If I go look at the way my stepdad and my mom treated each other, if I look at the way her mom and her dad treated each other, we were literally dating our own freaking parents. And we were allowing ourselves to suffer in the same way that they watched, really in the same way that we watched them suffer, as in our parents, and in the same way that our parents made each other suffer. Languages are learned. Love is a language. Relationships are languages learned. And so here we are learning how to be in a relationship from people who should not be teaching us. And what did you think was going to happen? And so she walks away, I walk away. And what's crazy is I was seeing somebody else at the same time, and I had to like pull myself out of that too. And it was just chaos, absolute chaos. And here's why. I'm going to give you the crux of all this here. I know this is the most un-Valentine's conversation ever. No one, and I mean no one, is ever going to make you respect yourself. No one is ever going to make you have boundaries for yourself. No one is ever going to make you love yourself. You are the only person who is going to give yourself respect, love, admiration, boundaries, and create the life that you want. Now, look, here's what's interesting. On a long enough timeline, you'll intersect with people who have done the same thing, and the dynamics of the relationships will be very different. That doesn't mean there won't be ups and downs. That doesn't mean there won't be hard times. But that does, like, and this has been my experience having relationships since I was 23, 24 years old, is I look at the relationships I've had now, and they're vastly different. They've been loving, they've been caring, they've been kind. Not that they haven't had their ups and downs and their mistakes, because I assure you they have. You are always learning in this journey. I know I certainly. And so when you go on this journey and you go into what's next, because you've chosen yourself first, not for any other reason than it's the right thing to do, then what will happen is you'll learn that it's okay to be alone. It's okay to not be in a relationship. It's okay to not be codependent. It's okay to not have to deal with the stress. If you are one of those people and you're in this relationship right now, and the first word you think of when it comes to the relationship that you are in is stress, you got to check yourself. Who wants that? Relationships are meant to bring us together, to make us bond, to give us the thing that perhaps even we were denied, to fill in some gaps, to hold our hands as we cross the street, to push us into this place where we find a new level of who we are through someone else's eyes. It's not that there's not going to be hard days, that you're not going to be outside of your integrity, that you're not going to annoy the hell out of each other, that you're not going to fight over dumb things. Like, whose turn it is to do the dishes or take out the trash, or why there's hair in the sink or in the tub, or, why the dishes, like all these things, the things that don't matter, like they're going to come up. They just are. But underneath those, there's something deeper. And I hope it's love for you. And I hope it's connection and companionship. And I hope for those listening, like, that you are loved. Even if you don't have that person in your life right now, I love you. I love you because you're here, because you listen to these stories, because you support this show, because you're trying to change the world. Listen, only people who listen to this show are trying to change the world. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who talk a big game, who don't come through. But I know one of you right now are hearing this and you're looking at your relationship and you have to make a decision. And you are scared of the unknown. You're scared about the loss, quote unquote, of the relationship. But most people look at the negativity, right? Most people look at the negativity. Here's what I mean by it. They go, if I leave this relationship, even though it's volatile, it's toxic, it's painful, it's stressful, it's chaotic, it's hurtful, it's emotionally closed, there's no sex, we don't even talk to each other. Even though all that exists, people will look at their relationship and they'll go, well, at least I got somebody. Because and here are the words people use, and you got to be careful here. They'll go, well, I'll never get that again. I'll never find anybody good enough. I'll never have anybody who understands me. Stop lying to yourself. You're scared of the other side. Like I talk about this a lot. Most people are more afraid of success than they are of failure. What if you change the position that you're looking at because your relationship is taking from you? It's hurting you. It's causing pain. It's tumultuous. Your friends tell you, don't come around us together. Here's the thing that you have to do. You have to look at opportunity and solutions. I'm not even saying being positive, just be realistic. What happens if you leave and you walk through the door and you say, I love you, but I can't do this anymore because I respect myself enough, because I love myself enough, because my boundaries are important? Well, maybe you find who you are again. Maybe you go on that trip you've always wanted to go on. Maybe you go to that state, that city that you've always wanted to be in. Maybe you start that business. You start that podcast. Maybe you travel the world. Maybe you write that book. Maybe you start doing whatever that hobby is that you've been dreaming of doing forever. Maybe you notice a drastic shift in your health. Maybe your friends look at you differently. Maybe you look at them differently. Maybe you get in the best physical shape of your life. You run that marathon. You do that triathlon. You practice martial arts. Maybe your money situation changes. Maybe all these incredible things are around the corner waiting for you. But if you get stuck in the fear of, well, we have the apartment together, or we have the house together, or we have the kids together, and we have the mortgage together, and maybe you don't have any of those things, right? Maybe it's just you have the companionship. Everybody's situation is going to be different. But if you're miserable, oh my God, look, if I could go back in time, people ask me this, and I think about giving this answer a lot when I'm a guest on podcasts. People go, what would you say to your younger self? I'd be like, leave the relationship. Be alone. Learn to heal. Love yourself first. Do the difficult thing and walk away. And that's tough. I know this is the most un-Valentine's Day Valentine's podcast in history, but my hope is that one day you get the Valentine's Day that you want, need, and deserve. Some of us are on a pipe dream. Some of us are in our heads making up realities that will never come to pass. My hope is that your reality shifts in a way that gives you permission to go and find what you're capable of having. And if you're in a relationship right now and it's good and you love that person and they bring you joy, but sometimes they annoy you, it's okay. Love them anyway. Don't hurt them. Don't let them hurt you. Have open, honest conversations. Share the truth. They might not be there when you wake up tomorrow morning. Life is coming for all of us. Like at the end of the day, you don't know what you have. People always say you never know what you have till it's gone. And it's true. Because you know how much time is left on that clock. My friend, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the show. I appreciate you greatly. If you didn't know, you can get a free copy of my first book, Think Unbroken. If you go to book.thinkunbroken.com, all you have to do is leave a review for this podcast and screenshot that review and add it to book.thinkunbroken.com. And if you're in the United States, I'm going to send you a paperback copy of the book for free. You don't even have to pay shipping. I'm taking care of it 100% just because you left a review. If you live internationally, I will send you the PDF copy of the book that you can digitally download as well, because I don't want you to miss out either. And my friends, thank you for being here. It means the world to me. Tell somebody that you love them today. And until next time, my friend, be unbroken. Thank you so much for listening to Think Unbroken. Please share this episode with someone who could use it and help us move forward in our mission of ending generational trauma in our lifetime. And if you would, please take 5 seconds to pop on iTunes or Spotify, hit that 5-star, leave a review, and you can also reach out to us on social at Michael Unbroken or at Think Unbroken. And of course, you can check out our YouTube channel at Think Unbroken. Thank you for being a part of Unbroken Nation, my friends, and until next time, be unbroken. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program.